Hi, this is Grover with Blue Collar Codes, Quick and Dirty of the Leetcode problem series. I'm going over problem 461, an easy problem. This one's about Hamming distance, which is basically it's comparing two binary representations of an integer, and it wants you to count the amount of differences there are between those two numbers in bits, so which bits differ, and then it's returning the count of those different bits. And to walk you through exactly what these are doing, first I'll clear this to give you a better example, and then I'm going to press play here. And so the bin built-in function is basically changing whatever the argument is into its binary representation. In this case, it's going to take an integer and change it to a binary representation that can be used as an argument or used to calculate something in Python code. And so I've printed out here to the right, and this is how it prints. So it doesn't print with the full amount of bits. It just kind of does a shortening here by placing the OB in front of the string. So if you wish to then print binary strings and have them be correctly represented with the amount of bits, you would first have to make sure how many bits your integer needs to have in order to define it. It doesn't have to necessarily be 8 bits. If it's a larger number, it could be more bits. And then you would do something like this. You would take the binary representation, you would slice off the first two values, which are always going to be a 0 and a lowercase b. And then you take that and use zfill to make it's basically going to backfill zeros at the front. So front load the string with zeros until it reaches this maximum character count of 8. And so then you see it prints out here nicely. And what this bitwise operator, the upwards pointing caret, or the two squinting eyes, two smiling eyes, it is an XOR bitwise operator, and what it's doing is it returns a representation or a binary number that is putting a 1 in each location where these two numbers differ. So why is it 101? Well, if we go count all the way across here, they're all zeros and they match each other. My cursor's in the upper right hand side here. So and where they end up changing or differing, the first place they differ is the third one from the right, and so then it places a 1 there. And then the 0, that's the second place from the right hand side, is still 0, so it's not going to be a 1, and then these two differ. So it's a 0 and a 1, so a 1 for the 1 integer and a 0 for the 4 integer, and since that differs, it's going to place a 1 there. And so that's what the XOR operator, bitwise operator, does. It just compares those two in binary form, and where they differ, it places a 1. And then the distance is the amount of ones, or the amounts of places that differs. And so what I'm doing here is just doing the, making this bin, so converting all this to binary, and then using the bitwise operator to compare the two values, the two arguments, and then I am going to count the amount of string 1s that are in that value and return that. And that ends up being the result of the problem. So again, blue collar codes, quick and dirty. I plan on doing a lot of these just to try to maintain my skills. If you have any questions, comments, feel free to ask. Thanks for joining.